Rams on the beat, boy.
What is up, everybody? We are back. Pod 118, second one of the week. I mean, come on, look at that. Two in 1 week. I'm Parth here with Pierre and Quell for the Philly Blitz, powered by 14th and Market. It's a big one this week. It feels like the one team that always has our number. The mad DC, the evil twin of Vic Fangio. I was thinking about a little bit in some ways, but the Bucs and the Eagles play this weekend. It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be 91 degrees, but the real feel on the field, 102. So those boys better be hydrated. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Like you said, bro, it's the second pod of the week. We're really grinding over here at the Philly Blitz.
Yeah, man. Work don't stop. People do, you know. Wubba love a dub to those who celebrate is at one and only Mark Will Fripp Owens. It's still sunny in Philadelphia. Heard it's extra sunny in Tampa Bay, though. So sunny that this guys decided to get there a day earlier. But we'll get into that in a second.
Doing good, though? Oh, wait, we didn't get a wubba lubba dub, dude.
I did.
You did? Okay. I don't know, man. These are long days, man. I don't know what's happening. The days go by quick, but they're long. It's weird. Pierre and I were just talking about it. You know, like 2 years just flies by like that before you even know it. For the last couple of years, though, the Bucs have just kind of beat our ass, for lack of a better term. Now, we haven't always been fully healthy, especially last year, even going back to that playoff game. But basically, for the last 5 games, the Eagles' record is 1-4 against the Bucs. So you know, this is a big one. This is one where, and you know, the competitors on this team know that as well. You know how many that they've lost to this team. But Todd Bowles, man, the way he can. Well, I guess we can get started, right? We'll start with our offense versus their defense.
Injury report.
Oh, man, I asked you if we had the injury report before we started, and then I skipped over it. So yes, this one is important this week too.
Yeah. So the Buccaneers, they are an extremely injured bunch. Mike Evans, he did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. There was a report earlier in the week that he's going to miss the game. Chris Godwin, he was injured last year with an ankle injury. He missed, I think, the second half of last year. Now, he was a full go on Wednesday, but he didn't practice today on Thursday. So his status for that game is up in the air.
So to pitch in on that, it sounds like that's been a routine thing for them where now I was under the assumption by doing my research that they would ramp him up a little bit more this week since there's an expectation that he'll play. But that's been their thing with him. He'll practice and then he'll not practice the next day.
But like this is like their ramp up period, is what you're saying. Like he's not.
It should be. So I thought he would have practiced again today, but it also doesn't surprise me seeing that he didn't.
Interesting. Okay.
Logan Hall, starting defensive lineman. He has a groin injury. He has not practiced all week. I'm gonna probably butcher this guy's last name, but Christian Izine, defensive back. He has a quad injury. He hasn't practiced all week. Charlie Heck, tackle. He has a knee injury. He's been limited on Wednesday and Thursday. Baker Mayfield, actually, he's been limited all week with the bicep injury. Levante David, he has a knee injury. He was limited on Wednesday, but a full go Thursday. And Tristan Wirfs, he started the year on PUP. He has not played this year, but he was a full go today on Thursday. For the Eagles, some interesting names popped up on the injury report. Zach Bond, he didn't practice Wednesday. He was limited today on Thursday with a knee injury. Jahad Campbell, he has a triceps injury. He didn't practice Wednesday. He was limited Thursday today. Dory Jackson, he didn't go on Wednesday. He was limited today. Tanner McKee, he's still been limited all week with the same thumb injury. Lane Johnson, he was limited on Wednesday. He was a full go today. He's dealing with the stinger. Will Shipley was a full go both days. And Nolan Smith popped up on the injury report. They put him and Darius Cooper and I think Jacorian Bennett on IR.
Yeah, that tricep injury for Nolan.
And they've been kind of secretive about it, though. It seems like they're trying to hide something.
It makes sense though. I mean, the way Nolan ended the season last year, and then the way that it's kind of been going this year in terms of the pass rush. I mean, we have 3 sacks on the season. We have a half sack from the edge group. That's Zadarius Smith. Everything else has come from the interior. So maybe that explains some of the lack of juice on the pass rush. And this is something that you deal with when you play deep into the postseason. And that's why they say that the Super Bowl hangover exists. It's because
I'm trying to make his voice heard.
I'm putting that bad juju in the air. That's what he's saying. There's no Super Bowl hangovers over here. But no, I completely agree with what you're saying for the most part, man. It's been tough sledding for a lot of the injuries with the team. And in terms of the Nakobe thing, I wouldn't necessarily say they've been secretive about it, especially to the fact
Nolan,
Nolan.
I said Nakobe.
I'm excited about Nakobe being able to return next week. That's what it is. But especially with some injuries on the edge, we can talk about potentially some Campbell reps on the edge, Nakobe getting his bat back for the time being. He got a lot to work with. But we'll touch on that another time. Bet they back to here with Nolan, the injury. I wouldn't say they were being secretive about it, especially with both he and Jacorian Bennett, oddly enough, able to finish the game last week. So, I mean, you would have thought it wasn't something bad enough to keep them out an extended period of time. At the same time, adrenaline is a real thing.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry. My dog is going crazy anytime anybody comes near the door. But apologies to any audio listeners who just were assaulted by his bark. He's got a loud one. But yeah, to that point, I think it'll just be interesting to see how it all plays out because edge is officially kind of a spot you have to keep an eye on now because
I think it's been one that we should have been watching.
Exactly. And this just adds fuel to that fire because Nolan was the best player.
The guy.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be something to watch this weekend.
Who do you guys think is going to get the, I guess, call up or get the roster spot on game day? Is it going to be Zizo Ojulari or Okoronkwo?
Probably Ojulari. He's been here through camp. I feel like he's probably waiting for his chance. He's probably pushing for it. I don't know. We'll see because he has been, not playing at all for the last couple of weeks.
Not good.
Very true. That could be the case. But anything else on injuries, or should we get into our offense versus their defense?
I think we can get into our offense versus their defense. I can kind of lead it off here. Like we talked about at the top of the pod, Todd Bowles, he's been Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni's kryptonite. Parth, you talked about the 1-4 record in the Sirianni era. There's been 2 postseason losses, 2 losses in the regular season. And so when I looked at this matchup, I wanted to really kind of understand what Todd Bowles does. And we kind of know, like, he's going to blitz, right? But, like, it's like one of the things we say often about Jalen is, like, most quarterbacks, but he's at his best when he knows what he's getting, right? He's at his best when he knows what he's seeing from pre-snap to post-snap. And the calling card for the Todd Bowles defense is causing chaos and muddying the picture for the quarterback, right? And with what we've seen from this passing offense up until the second half of last week's game and the sort of, I guess, lack thereof of a running game, I don't think we should be shocked about what we're going to see from Todd Bowles, right? He's going to blitz Jalen. He's going to blitz him a lot. But the only, like, the kicker here for the Eagles for me is the fact that they're going to be healthy, right? Like, they haven't been healthy in the past couple of matchups against Tampa Bay. And, you know, they're going and looking back to 2021, every year that they've played the Buccaneers, they've been without one of AJ, Devontae, or Dallas Goedert. This year, that's not going to be the
last
case.
year too.
Yeah. They were without all 3 of them last year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be different this time around. Like, if you want to blitz them, you know what they're going to do. They're going to blitz you. So you can't have this conservative approach in terms of a passing offense.
I think the encouraging part is that we've seen over the last couple of years, Jalen has improved mightily against the blitz, and you've even seen it against Todd in some of these games. Where in that first game, I still remember, Todd Bowles was just bringing the house, and Jalen was helpless. Even for the second game, and then third and fourth game, you started kind of getting a little bit of a hang of it. We started having some answers within the offense. I know that was a big sticking point for a long time, but. I tend to agree with you, Pierre, because besides like a nice explosive run Saquon had last year, which you can't take that away, they did a good job against us in the run. And this year we've struggled in the run game, and we have somebody at guard who struggles with power a little bit too, in terms of Steen. And then you have
in Dickerson, I don't think he's healthy, man. He hasn't looked
they're all
the same.
injured, dude. They're all still injured, and then now you're going up against one of the strongest guys in the NFL in Vita Vea, right? So, I hope this is a week where we start seeing some stretch runs as well, and just make the passing game an extension of the running game. Let's see things like that.
It seems like a lot of the run game this year has just been inside zone or just straight like run up the middle. Like there hasn't been the different concepts mixed in.
It's been a lot of like, we're better than you. We're just going to show it. And like, yeah, there's validity to that, but maybe they're not as good as they have been in the last couple of years. And you have to be creative. And that's something that the Eagles have done a really good job of, like that's something that we've complimented Stout on year to year. It's just like, hey, like, game to game, it doesn't matter. Like they'll have like a different run plan for whoever they go up against. But I think it just comes down to maybe a lack of trust in what's out there right now because guys are injured or whatever it might be. But yeah, I'm not sure. What are you thinking, Quell?
Well, in terms of the Tyler Steen and Landon Dickerson, and is everybody truly healthy? I mean, of course they're not healthy.
Yeah, and then what do you think about the offensive approach? What are you thinking in terms of how we can get after him here?
So, in terms of the front line, of course the guys aren't healthy. We talked about it in volumes prior to the season about, going on a deep playoff run takes its toll on you. You're dealing with injuries from the prior year. We just got finished talking about Nolan Smith and him tearing his tricep at the Super Bowl, and he's still feeling the effects of that to this day. And of course, we know Landon and his injury prior to the season, he was never going to be fully 100%. It was just about seeing if pain tolerance kind of thing for him. So it doesn't surprise me to see exactly them struggle up to this point. Now, in terms of Tampa Bay, how we could approach Tampa Bay and just everything in general, this matchup is fun for me. because you can see the evolution of everyone happening in front of your eyes on both sides of the ball. You guys talked about Jalen Hurts, and we know Jalen Hurts and his struggles versus the blitz historically. Well, this season versus the blitz, Jalen Hurts has been blitzed on 43% of his dropbacks, where he's 21 for 35, a 60% completion percentage, 181 yards. Though he's been sacked 5 times and scrambled twice, it's been a mixed bag of results, but he's been much better. Most of those yards came in the game last week, which is encouraging, where they blitzed him to oblivion, for lack of a better term. And he was able to finish the game with, I think, about 100 yards passing against the blitz alone. So now the funny thing about this is when you talk about Jalen Hurts versus Todd Bowles, Hurts versus Bowles, I believe in his career has a 58% completion percentage, has thrown 1,058 yards. That's 211 yards per game, 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Park, you touched on how he's improved against the blitz. Yeah, he has, but it's been like a slow metric kind of thing. Like he's went from turning the ball over in oblivion a bunch against them. Well, he's still struggling out there, but he's taking care of the football and struggling, so that's a win here. So now it's time for the next step in the engagement, which, like you guys mentioned, there was no A.J. Brown for all of this. So it'll be fun to watch, especially them going into Tampa Bay. We know how the weather has played a factor for them over the few years, but you also mentioned when you don't have the weapons to compete, how can you? We mentioned the game last year. It was just laughable, the guys. They trotted out there. But I mean, what can you say now?
So
on the go ahead, Pierre.
Yeah, so a lot of what they did last week in the second half against the Rams, they kind of isolated AJ Brown. They went 3-by-1. AJ Brown by himself matched up 1-on-1. So, do you guys think that's like feasible against the Todd Bowles blitz heavy approach? Which, like we said, the Rams they blitzed them a lot last week. So,
me personally, I think they will appreciate it, for lack of a better term. They want those matchups. I don't think it's anything they'll run from. It's just it's easy to do this when you're Tampa Bay, especially against the Eagles, where you haven't seen many games with A.J. Brown out there, and you have the notice that you do on Jalen Hurts versus the pressure at the same time. But what I was just actually about to get into, thinking just like a beautiful tie-in, is I think that which makes the evolution on the Tampa Bay side so fun is this is the most complete, I would say. I mean, of course, some injuries like Elijah Cansey and a few guys they missing, but this is probably the most complete version of the Todd Bowles defense they've had since that Super Bowl era that they've escaped from. You know, last year they had a guy like Tyke Smith playing a bunch of nickel. Now he's able to play his pure position. They took the Philadelphia Eagles approach and drafted 2 defensive backs. And it's worked out well for him. One in Jacob Parrish and the other one in Benjamin Morrison, where Jacob Parrish has been like kept Cooper DeJean for us, a heaven sent for them in a slot. But Benmo, I don't want to say they've tried to phase out Jamel Dean, but they kind of lit a fire under him. He's under contract year. They basically told him, look, that money that we was forced to pay you, that ain't the obligation no more. We got a young fella behind you that can really play. So they got the dudes to line up and play man coverage. I mean, if you really want to talk about the dudes, I would love to see how much, if any, because it seems like they just isolate their guys on one side, left cornerback, right cornerback, but how much, if any, of the matchup we see from Zion McCullough and A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
So as a little bit of a rebuttal, or not rebuttal, but kind of piggybacking off of that, we're talking about the skill position players for the Eagles and health and all of that. The one win the Eagles do have against this Tampa Bay team, this iteration with Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield and everything like that, it's come when A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Devontae Smith were all healthy. A.J. Brown in 2023, when the Eagles won 25-11, he had 9 catches, 131 yards. So if they're gonna win, they're gonna put the ball in the air.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think you even saw that they're trying to figure out things about the defense and give Jalen easy answers. Even in that first drive against the Rams, we talk about the second half, but even that first half, or that first drive of the first half, we saw a lot of empty. So that you kind of have to see what the defense is going to be giving you, so that you can't disguise as much, and that's something we know Bowles likes to do as well. I mentioned he's like Fangio's evil twin because they both like to disguise a lot of stuff. But I mean, I know it's a little bit of a moot point this year because Fangio's blitzed so much, but he's like Fangio doesn't like to blitz, right? He's like, we're going to do bend, don't break, but we're going to disguise a bunch of stuff. Bowles wants to disguise a bunch of stuff and blitz you. So it's like
he's like Brian Flores's step uncle brother.
basically something like that. But it's an interesting kind of dichotomy of how you can approach the game, but be very similar and very different at the same time. But I tend to agree with you, Pierre. I think you're going to have to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, because even Saquon, I don't know if we're going to be able to just run it as we have, like we kind of outlined. I think you're going to have to be able to get the ball in his hands in creative ways. That's why I mentioned make the running game the passing game an extension of the running game, right? Like run some screens, get the ball in his hands and with some easy cuts. Because how many times have we seen right now that Saquon is just stuck behind the line, kind of having to chop his feet and doesn't have an easy answer? That's not what we want. And that's not when Saquon is at his best. But yeah,
you want to mute you?
Yeah, you're on mute, Quell.
That's what I'm talking about. We got Parthy G out here with some great research. I was just about to give you a great alley-oop into that one. They got to use other ways of Saquon Barkley. You want to talk about this Tampa defense? Tampa has been great against the run. Not only this season, but historically against Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley against Todd Bowles since his arrival to Tampa Bay, 8 carries for 10 yards, 6 carries for 25 yards. And then you got the game last year with 10 carries for 84 yards, but he had a 59-yard run. So it kind of skews the numbers. He has kind of dominated the. Go ahead.
Because they got that brick wall in the middle of their defensive line.
Even I don't think Vita played in the regular season matchup last year. It was either last year or the year before that.
He missed one of them, right?
Yeah, Vita didn't play and Kalijah did. And then the next week, Kalijah played, but Vita didn't. They was just trying to get both of them healthy. I remember looking into them. But even then, what stands out about what you said, Parth, is if Tampa Bay can be beaten, that's the area. That's how and that's when. Can the Eagles use Saquon Barkley, the pass catcher? Bijan Robinson against this Tampa Bay defense. 6 receptions for 100 yards. The very next week, Nick Chubb, 2 receptions for 29 yards, including a 27-yard run. But his running mate, Woody Marks, had 1 reception for 37 yards. So that's 66 yards to the running back position against the Texans, who we know has struggled up front. Last week against Breece Hall, 4 receptions for 31 yards. Teams have tried to attack them. And I'm sure we've all seen the posts going on around about Pastor Savassier. I'm sure you all seen it. And they use him in a bunch of different ways. It's fun to watch him get used, but as Pierre would say, he's #not good. If you guys haven't seen that post going on around the internet, just search his name. Matter of fact, I think it's a good friend of the pod, Eric Eagle that posted it. But it's a fun watch. But in general, that's how they're gonna win. Not just that, but like you got an outline. Throwing the ball is gonna have to be the way, because I don't think running. Only running that's going to be happening is Jalen Hurts running for his life.
Yeah, I mean, dude, even if you're playing Madden, right, it just comes down to it. If you're going to blitz me a lot, I'll throw screens, right? That's how you can beat the blitz. If you don't have like an easy answer somewhere else, you throw screens and you get them off balance in that way. Have them running past where the ball is supposed to go, So, yeah, I think we've outlined it there. Is there anything else on the offense, guys? I mean, like I said at the end of the last pod, put the ball in AJ Brown's hands and put the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands. Put it in Devontae Smith's hands and Dallas Goedert's hands. The other guys can get.
It's not hard.
It's not.
It's not hard.
Really good.
It's
They're really
hard.
good at football. When they have the ball, they're actually pretty good. So, all right, our defense versus their offense.
I'll tee it off here again.
Let's do it.
This Buccaneers offense is hurting, brother. Like, there are injuries galore, injuries everywhere. Like I said at the top of the pod, Tristan Wirfs, their starting left tackle, he started the year on PUP. He hasn't played this year. That means, what is his name? Graham Barton. He shifted from center to left tackle.
That's a ball guy, wasn't
it? Yeah.
That's crazy versality, bro. Center to
the big thing with him. Like, he did
play all 5 positions.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Like,
He might end up playing guard this week if they can get lucky enough to get Tristan Wirfs back.
Yeah. You think they put him at guard instead of center?
Yeah, because I think they might want to see Ben Bredesen.
Okay.
Yeah, because if their O line is fully healthy, it's Wirfs, Bredesen, Barton, Mock. I think it's Mock.
Cody Bonner, another
yeah.
Quill, my guy.
That is
And they loading the flood over there.
Then it's Luke Godike at right tackle. But with all the injuries, Gedeke. What is it? Gedeke. Okay, Gedeke. Okay.
The door's locked. Get a key.
So, with all the injuries, Graham Barton, like I said, shifted from center to left tackle. Ben Bredesen slid over to center, and Michael Jordan, not the basketball player, they signed him to the practice squad. He plugged him in. They plugged him in at left guard. Gedeke, he hurt his foot week 2. He's on IR. Charlie Heck, he stepped in at right tackle. Then Cody Mock's season ended in week 2 with a knee injury. Results in week 3, their O-line looked like Graham Barton, Elijah Klein, Ben Bredesen, what is his name? Luke Haggard, and Charlie Heck at right tackle. So it's been
they had
a lot of names.
What's his name? Klein or Clet. He was the honorary 6 offensive lineman, tight end, but he's out for the season now this year too.
Yeah, so it's been a bunch of different names shifting everywhere, and they think they're gonna get Tristan Wirfs back. I saw that they said that he's practiced this week, so I guess he might be like a game time decision type of thing. But I mean, not even there. The injuries don't stop there. Like you look at the wide receiver core, Mike Evans, he's gonna miss the game. Chris Godwin, if he plays, it'll be his first game back since last season. Ricky Waddle, Emeka Egbuka, that he's had a good year to start the year so far. He's dealing with a groin injury that limited his snaps in week 3. The number 4 receiver, Jalen McMillan, he's on IR. So there are injuries everywhere.
Snaps. It didn't limit his production.
No, it didn't. And that's what I was about to point at is like they have all these injuries. It's a laundry list of O linemen that they've played with, but it's important to point out they're 3-0 as well. You know, they do such
a good job of carrying their weight, man.
They're 3-0 by the skin of their teeth. All 3 of their wins have come on the final drives of the games.
You know they're the first team in NFL history for that to ever happen with.
That's such a cool stat.
Wait, what was it? What was the stat? I didn't hear it.
The Buccaneers are the first team in NFL history to win each of their first 3 games on a go-ahead score in the final minute of regulation.
Listen, agreed. But as a podcast that also cares about wins, because that's what we care about, gotta tip the hat there because they've made it work, and you gotta appreciate that. And so, I mean, they're going to be something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's defense. Their combined opponents over the last 3
I'm about to say
a winning record of 1-8.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's good enough. Listen, it's good enough against the Falcons, Texans, and Jets.
Agree. That's what we can get into.
It's a different animal.
But this is also a team that has given us trouble over and over again. You know what I mean? Like it's just a game that, like, when I saw it at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh shit, that's going to be a tough one, regardless of who's out there, because we talked about it. Fine, the offense is dealing with injuries. Their defense is mostly healthy, as Quell pointed out. You know, and so agreed. You know, the rest of the teams are not the Eagles, and that definitely needs to be stated.
We definitely not the Falcons losing 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers.
Right,
man.
But
take it easy.
Eagles have also had a tendency of like
playing down to their opponent. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Like
I don't think, but this kind of goes into like we talked about last week and why that Rams game was able to happen the way it did. I mean, yeah, we got talented players and things of that nature, and I hope they don't think they can go an entire season thinking that they can lollygag and then flip the switch when they want to. But it's good knowing that the switch is there. And when you're a champion, that's what that switch comes from. You've been in these positions. You like this.
Agreed.
Isn't no regular Tampa Bay matchup. I mean, yeah, we got the Jalen Hurts and hit the ghost of his past, but I don't know. Maybe this, like I said at the start, the evolution of everyone involved.
I'm hoping. Like listen, I like, and that's a conversation we can have. We kind of had it on Tuesday of like, was this who they're going to be now? Is this what they're trending towards? Was this just what they did what they had to? But I can even look back to the Cowboys game, right? Like we seeing the Cowboys since then, they don't look like a good team. And it was a close game with the Cowboys, right? We were all three of us were there. It was like, geez, like this is pretty close. And then
But
I remember
there were so many things in that game that were just like extremely random events.
Agreed. But like even before the heat warning or whatever, no, what the lightning is what it was. But like even before all of that, nothing happened after that. But even before that, like I left the game thinking, oh, the Cowboys might maybe be pretty good this year. Like that's the feeling I left with. And then since then it's been like, yeah, but since then it's been like, oh, the Cowboys are kind of booty. And like,
I mean, they kind of still the same team. I mean, granted, we made them look a little better defensively, but I like to think that was a product of game plan more than
hopefully, right? But my point is that we've seen teams be able to kind of drag us down, and I want the Eagles to play their game every game, but their game needs to expand too. And it's a complex situation that we've kind of gotten into a lot, and I want to make sure that we focus on our defense versus their offense. Huh?
The task at hand.
Exactly. But I want to see what we look like when we come out there, right? Is it going to be a continuation of like, hey, we're going to just try to run the ball up the middle because we're strong and we can do that? Or is it going to be, hey, we're going to be creative and get the ball in the hands of our playmakers?
And AJ talked about it. Like, it shouldn't take you going down 19-7, 26-7.
That's
for you
kind
to
of
be
my
like,
point.
all right, let's lock in. Like, it shouldn't be the meme. It shouldn't be the meme where the guy's sitting down and then he sits up.
Yeah, he's like with the video game controller. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Where it's like, hey, don't do that to yourself. You don't need to. But yeah, getting into this matchup, I think it's I think their offense has some bright spots, but they're dealing with a ton of injuries. So I'm really not sure what there is to be said here. I think what's important is that we have to make sure that Vic Fangio pointed this out. He called Baker a dual threat quarterback, because he's damn good at escaping tackles, dude. That guy can break a tackle and he runs hard too. And we all have seen those videos of Baker being willing to put down the shoulder and all those types of things. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to keep
he can run hard. He can run hard till Big Jordan Davis is chasing after him.
Agreed. But Baker is not afraid to put down the shoulder. We've seen it over and over.
You gonna put your shoulder down into Jordan Davis?
How are you gonna?
I like to see you try, brother.
Jordan Davis is chasing him down. Is he gonna put a shoulder down? That's not good. It's gonna be a shoestring tackle. That's how it's gonna go. But like if he runs into somebody else, he's gonna try to put it down. It's just what he does. If Adoree Jackson was healthy and he was out there, you think Baker Mayfield is not putting the shoulder into?
We're picking Adoree Jackson up off the turf.
peeling him up off the turf.
You know what I want to see though. You know what I want to see. Which quarterback was it that Jahad Campbell knocked into the middle of next week?
In the preseason, right?
No, it was a college game. It was a college game.
Oh,
who was it?
I can't even.
Was it Jackson? It was Jackson Dart. I want to see him. I want to see him do that to Baker Mayfield.
We could see part 2 with Jackson Dart pretty soon. But the other thing that I want to point out, so I think with Baker, keep your rushing lanes, keep that integrity because they're going to be passing the ball. Don't let him get a second play on top of that if you're doing a good job covering downfield because I have a feeling we'll be doing that given our secondary and their receiver health. And I'll get into my matchup a little bit later. And then the other one that I want to mention is, it's a big week for Keely Ringo. His number is likely going to be called, and Vic Fangio has mentioned that he's improved in practice, and Keely's looking for an opportunity to prove himself. And I think we could see something pretty good out of him. I think this could be like a good, ease your way in, get started, get your feet settled. Even in the secondary, I think I was listening to the PHLY podcast, and EJ Smith pointed this out that with that call against Jamar, right, the one where Jamar broke it for a touchdown, Vic was testing Keely, right? Like he was just testing him to see what he could do. And when it comes to an actual game in the regular season, he's not going to be testing him. He's going to be putting him in positions to succeed. And so I think we could see some improvement, So I think it's a big week for Keely, and hopefully he plays well because as I'm looking down at the Seahawks game, Josh Jobe is playing pretty well too. So,
and it's fun. It's funny because in in a way, the cornerback competition is kind of hasn't been solved. Yeah, on paper it has. Adoree Jackson has gotten a start, but no one still has really separated themselves, right? Like
No one took
we've
the
seen
position like we
Jacorian,
talked about.
yeah, we've seen Jacorian Bennett snaps just like we've seen Adoree Jackson snaps, and so for Keely, like this is kind of like another audition for him. Like, what are you gonna do? You got it all in front of you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see if, well, not if, but when he gets those opportunities, especially when you look at this Buccaneers offensive approach. They kind of what you see is what you get with this Tampa Bay team. They really, really want to get the run game going. They got a 61% pass percentage, which is 21st in the league. They got a 41% first down pass rate, which is 29th in the league, and they got a 46% neutral down pass rate, which is 30th in the league. So they run the ball at every opportunity that they can. Hasn't been very successful, with the exception of the second game where Rashad White turned the clock back a little bit. They've been trying to get Bucky.
I don't want to hear that. Rashad White turned back the clock, dude. How old are we? If Rashad White is turning back the clock, oh my
I
god!
mean, his clock is speeding up on him, so everybody clock don't go at the same pace. That's why he's turning his clock.
All right.
But
Perfect.
you got Bucky Irvin, who they've really tried to get going, and I mean, they've got him going in other ways like pass catching and things of that nature. But in terms of Bucky the runner, he hasn't really been what we've become accustomed to over the last 365 days. So we'll see exactly if they can get that going, especially how the Eagles looked against the run last week against the Rams. You can expect Tampa to use a lot of those similar concepts, trying to get outside zone going and things of that nature. And they're going to dress it up the same way that the Rams did. We've seen a lot of motion from the Rams. We're going to see a lot of motion from Tampa Bay, who attach motion to their plays at 68%, but they rarely attach play action. So now I wonder, based on the matchup, will we see a little bit more play action, especially given they don't have the use of 12 personnel, especially with the injury to the tight end I was telling you guys about now. So, I mean, for a team that was already a predominantly 11 personnel team, that's kind of going to be the thing. Now, I heard them talking about, I believe it was the PHLY podcast they were talking about this about, where you heard Vic where he talked about how the Cowboys, they trapped them into a nickel and dime personnel kind of game in their first week.
I do remember that conversation.
And they really did want to run a little bit more base to get both Sydney on the field, but kind of I think just to have the cornerback too not be as much of a weakness as it became over the course of that game, where you kind of stuck in the same position, whether you think Tampa has the receivers or not. Which I mean, Emeka Buka's going to be there. I don't know how you guys feel about Sterling Shepard, but me personally, any guy that
turning back the clock.
Yeah. But I mean, I was about to say, any guy that has the opportunity to go play with his college quarterback, I respect it. So they got a chemistry there, make it work, especially against the Eagles. It'll be my luck in the middle of the third quarter. He catches a 15-yard touchdown like this guy. Out of all the people on the field, it's this guy. But they're going to try to get
that's what it was like last year, didn't he? Last year he cooked us, didn't he?
I believe so.
It was just him, it was a Sterling Shepard show, and this was pre Cooper, so it's interesting.
And I mean, like we said, they're going to get the ball to their receivers. I believe they have a 73% target share to their wide receivers, so that a lot of those targets going to them. I think next up will be the running backs, which I talked about them trying to find different ways to get Bucky involved, but you're going to have to line them up if you're Philadelphia on the outside because passes are coming your way.
Absolutely.
That's where, for me, it's important for this pass rush to get home, man. Like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and even with the injuries at edge, like I just outlined, like they're with the Buccaneers and their issues along their offensive line, that tackle specifically, like Zadarius Smith, Jalix Hunt, Zizo Jalari. Somebody got to get home from the edge, man. They got to get pressure on Baker.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Campbell.
Yeah, you gotta get pressure and you gotta finish the play because he's damn good at shaking tackles. It's frustrating how good he is. I mean, he's just a stocky dude.
He's like a backyard quarterback. Like that's what pops in my head whenever I think of Baker Mayfield. and he's just so good. Like he's extremely good.
Hell of a story, dude. That picture of him playing defensive line on the scout team for the Panthers is just insane, dude. Because like, what were they doing, bro? That's a story for another day. But
Bad teams do bad things.
bad teams do bad things. Absolutely. So sorry, I'm trying to.
Somebody should put that on a shirt.
Why not you?
Yeah. We gotta get the merch going sooner or later.
Take that idea back, and nobody take that.
Forget I said that.
Yeah, the Men in Black clicker, flash the light real quick. So, do we have anything else on their offense versus our defense, or should we get into some matchups to watch?
I think we can get into matchups.
All right,
Minnesota.
He got you. All right. Pierre, you didn't even acknowledge.
Wait, what?
Acceptance of defeat is what you just seen. That's
what
what I like to call that.
Yeah, you didn't even realize, dude. Yeah, you owe him Coke, dude.
Wait, what did you say?
He said jinx, buy me a Coke.
Oh.
Anyways, I'll go first because I don't want anybody to steal mine. And I was thinking about this one.
Buddy.
I'm feeling this one. So this is our defense versus their offense. I'm excited for the Cooper and Emeka matchup. Emeka matchup. I think that's going to be really fun. He's been electrifying to start this year. Cooper wasn't there for the last game. They beat us a ton out of the slot last year. I want to see him have a really good game because I think even against Puka last game, Puka is really good. Like Cooper struggled for like the first time I've ever seen, so I want to see him have a nice bounce back game against a guy who's been tearing it up. Bring him back to earth. Bring him back to earth for us, Cooper, especially given where he went to college. But I digress.
It's the hot Roman hell for you to into.
I'll go second here. I want to go, and this is. I don't think this is an opt out, but it might be an opt out. You guys let me know.
Oh my God! Every time it's gonna be. Is it gonna be Todd Bowles versus Jalen Hurts? If it is,
no,
even give it to me. I don't want to hear it.
No.
If it's a unit, if it's a whole unit, if it's a coach, it's an opt out.
So I don't think this is an opt out then.
Okay, perfect.
Jordan Davis versus the Florida Heat. Is that an opt out? I don't think that's an opt out.
I think he wishes he can opt out from that. But I don't know. See, what's hilarious about that kind of conversation is, granted, conditioning and all that stuff. That's why he was talking about he had a date with the Peloton at 9:30 tonight. Yeah. But, they made a fair point while I was listening to PHL why y'all drafted all these Alabama and Georgia players.
I was just about to say they're Southern boys, bro. Yeah. We talked about this in the winter. You have to find the Southern boys so that you can the guys who can have the ability to adjust, but then they can play in the South too. Because the guys who only play in the North and only play in the cold, they can't play in the South. So if you can get the guys from the South who have the ability to play in the heat, you got that because that's what they grew up in. Jordan Davis is from Florida, I think, actually. Let me double check that.
I think is he? He's definitely a Southern kid, though. Definitely.
Louisiana.
Okay. Yeah.
No, wait. No, that's another Jordan Davis.
Oh.
Country singer.
I don't know. How did you get them mixed up?
Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, I just looked up Jordan Davis, and I was like, wait, that's not the Jordan Davis I know. Was
there not a size difference?
Yeah, and a race difference as well. So I was like, I don't know if that's the right guy. Might be the wrong guy. I know Jordan Davis lost weight, but not that much. But okay, I'll give it to you. But I don't know, man. I agree with Quell. I think these guys have played in the heat before. It's nothing they don't know. Conditioning is there.
Calling them fat.
Yeah, he is.
You're fat.
Yeah, hey, James, get him, bro. Get this guy. Not me.
No, I'm interested to see how he follows up last week's performance.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
it's hot.
We talked about it. Yeah, the conditioning and snap count and everything like that, and how much he's improved as a pass rusher. And like we were just talking about, like this pass rush has to get home if they're going to impact Baker Mayfield. So I'm really interested to see how Jordan plays. So I'll be watching him versus Graham Barton.
Okay, there is your matchup. Thank you. Okay, no opt out. We got a real matchup. Quell. He gave us one. I like that one though because it's going to be interesting. That interior's been moving around a lot, and Jordan Davis has been playing at a dominant level. So, what do you got, Quell? What do you got for us?
Well, I guess I'll walk down the Pierre route. You can call it an opt out if you want to. I'll list name by name if you would like me to. But this is the matchup to watch. I don't care if it's Jacob Parrish matched up with the Eagles moving receiver to slot. Hell, Jahan Dotson. I don't care if it's Jamel Dean or Benjamin Morrison matched up with.
Wait, they drafted Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish?
Yeah, they drafted.
Did you not hear me say this earlier in the podcast?
I heard you say two corners. It just didn't click in my head which two corners it was.
Yeah.
But Quell,
they went got some dudes.
Oh, well, yeah. give us our defense versus their offense first. That's what we just did.
Oh, okay. Our defense versus their offense. I guess mine will be. Wait, didn't he just say Jordan Davis? Oh, that is our defense.
Yeah.
This always confuses me every time, man. I don't think I'll ever get it right. But I would say our defense versus their offense, the matchup to watch would be kind of living on the same page. Don't care who the matchup is. It's our secondary against their receivers. How do they utilize Emeka Egbuka? You talked about you want to see Emeka versus Cooper. Do they use Emeka in the slot? Is the question, especially with Sterling Shepard being mostly a slot receiver, especially with Mike Evans getting injured and Chris Godwin's potential return, who also dibbles and dabbles in the slot. They have a handful of slot receivers and more than a fair share of players to go on the boundary. I mean, more than a fair share of snaps that happen on the boundary. So I want to see how those snaps are dictated. I don't know if you guys had the chance to hear Kay Adams talk to Emeka. He was asked about the potential Eagles double teams. And I'm like, brother, you won't see a double team. If you're on the boundary, you're going to meet a guy named Quinyon Mitchell and you're going to know him well. And if you decide to go on the slot, you're going to meet Cooper DeJean and you're going to know him well. I don't think there are many ways that they can hide him specifically this week.
Ain't no Avonte Maddox this time. Ain't no you still be gaming. That ain't happening.
That was this game. Yeah.
With
Mike Evans. It was this game. Yeah. You still be gaming? Oh my God. Fortnite? You play Fortnite?
But on the other side of the ball, kind of the same rhythm where though I'm a bit more eager to see this side of the ball because I really respect, like Pierre was just talking about once he realized who they drafted some dudes over there on that other side of the ball, man. Especially when you, like I said, Jacob is their version of Cooper DeJean. They use him in coverage. Bro. They use him as
he is a dog.
You of course Pierre loves him. Pierre loves Jalen Petrie. So it's kind of all these guys that live in the same tax bracket. But he's a Tuesday guy. Whatever you ask me to do, I will and can succeed there. And then you talk about Ben Morrison, you talk about a team who loves to play man coverage on the outside. If there's one thing that Benjamin Morrison thrived at, is playing man coverage. So if you're going to have somebody sending pressure, if you're going to have a rookie cornerback from this class that playing coverage behind that pressure, I don't think it was many more than that guy. And then, of course, on the other side, Zion McCollum, who, he about as big as a stick. But hey, that's an all-pro corner right there. So I'm intrigued.
He's a dude that's like he's like 6'3", isn't he?
Yeah. But he's like bony as hell.
Yeah.
Brother of Tristan McCollum. Eagles great.
That's the thing
Vic
about
Fangio favorite.
We can't never get the good twin, man. We ain't get Jaden McDaniel.
Casey Matthews.
I was just about to say Casey Matthews. It goes back to Casey Matthews.
We can't never get the good twin, man.
Oh, wait. No, we're missing one too. Oh, Jalen Watkins was Sammy Watkins' half-brother.
Look, still losing.
What's the dude with the Sixers? What's the one?
Oh,
the guard? Retraded for him, and I thought we got the other one.
Mikal. No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
no,
McDaniels.
That's what I just said. McDaniels.
Yeah. Jaden McDaniels.
Hell, Steph Curry.
Seth Curry too. Yeah. Seth was cold. Seth was cold.
Yeah,
Seth
he's cool now, but it's just the principle of we don't never get the good brothers.
Agreed.
We need to look up if any of our players have siblings that play.
Facts. We also, I was thinking about this also earlier. For all the hate my Gators get, every Super Bowl win we've had 2 on the roster: Fred Johnson and CJ, and then the time before was Trey Burton and Jalen Watkins. So we need one more.
We need
Speaking of
somebody to
CJ.
laugh back on a long season.
Huh?
We need somebody to laugh back
yeah,
on a long
yeah,
season.
yeah. How
Speaking
many
of CJ,
bucks were on them? I don't think it can happen. I don't think it can happen because he only played 3 games, and I think he needs to play 4 games at the new club for us to be able to.
Adam Schefter said they could sign him back if they want.
Really? Okay.
He said there's no restrictions. They aren't gonna. They aren't gonna.
No, they said they're comfortable with the room unless there's like an injury or something. I don't know.
You remember? Wait, you remember before we played the Buccaneers last year? CJ was in a tunnel. And I can't get the video out. I can't get the video out my head. He was like,
I was pissed after that, dude. I was like, oh my god.
Back at the crib.
Back at the
Listen, Florida boy, listen. He felt at home, but nothing I can say about that one. That one was painful, man. All right, my matchup, our offense versus their defense. I kind of had two.
Please don't steal mine.
Well, I might. So one of them was I'm not sure what side he's going to be rushing from, but whoever the tackle is that Hassan Reddick has been rushing against, because Hassan Reddick has had pretty good start to the season. He didn't play at all last season, or maybe he played near the end, but still has some pass rush juice. So that'll be a fun matchup to watch. And he's going to try to, he's going to try to make a play, especially against the Eagles with the way everything went. And then my other one was just going to be Jalen versus Levante David, man. I think Levante. Let's go, man. I knew I took it. Levante David is the quarterback of their defense.
All I can think about listening to you talk about this is that Brock Lesnar meme. He walked up with all the dope people in the ring and he was like, "Party's over, Grandpa." Like, what?
Wait, since you gave yours, at least let me give my spiel on why it's my matchup.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but yeah, that's the 2 quarterbacks playing against each other, and Todd Bowles' defense runs through Levante David. So fun to watch. What you got, Pierre?
It's much of the same, man. Like we talked about, bro. Todd Bowles is going to bring the heat, and Levante David is going to be the one leading the charge, right? In the matchup last year, Levante David recorded a strip sack of Jalen, so I'm interested to see Jalen get his get back, as the kids say.
You gonna get your get back?
But also, like, against this blitz, like, not only just Levante, but Levante included also, because he's a huge part of it. But how does Jalen look, man? Is he going to be a deer in the headlights, or is he going to be, throwing where the linebacker vacates? What is that going to look like?
That's the issue.
I think he's going to
be not just going to be a linebacker.
Yeah,
like that blitz that he got beat on last week. They
safety
specialize at sending blitzes from that area of the field, from the slot, the nickel. Like
they've been overloading.
But last week, you cannot discount. And I said it on Tuesday. I'm going to say it again. Matt Pryor was god awful. Lane Johnson or Fred Johnson is going to be there.
Agreed.
Yeah, but it's a chance that we find out that was it Saquon just not knowing who his assignment was, or was he going to go help Matt Pryor because he was playing so bad?
Right.
Because the same opportunity is going to be there.
Yeah. But that also means that they've drilled into it this week. You have to believe that was something that they emphasized, especially after it led to a turnover last week. That's just something that Nick harps on. I mean, hopefully they have it ironed out, but agreed, Quell. I think it remains to be seen. But personally, I think just the way that Jalen has been playing, when they allow him to throw the ball now, he's so damn confident when they just let him. I think it's kind of had this like opposite effect. And so it's just but
they got to have to Pierre's point, though. They have to have answers. I think it was against the Chiefs, where the Chiefs just blitzed him to oblivion in one of the plays. And I get it. Me and Shavin was talking through it, and I said, I mean, if you look at the Eagles, especially a team who their whole thing is keep things simple, KISS, if you got a wide receiver as talented as Devonta Smith and AJ Brown on the outside, and you see in pressure come, why would you not give your guys a chance? At the same time, Jalen Hurts deserves hat reads, man. He deserves, like, when you know the pressure is coming from somewhere, don't just tell people to run 70 yards down the field and pray.
Dude, we've been asking for that for the last 5 years, it feels like. And I feel I thought we've seen it a little bit more in flashes, but it's nothing consistent by any means. So definitely agree with that.
But okay, so wait, to that conversation, I know we're about to get out of here, but how much of that is more so the coaching staff themselves not putting it in there, and versus like the receivers themselves kind of, if they're gonna send a blitz, or if they're like if they're in zone, if it's a zone blitz, like them kind of sitting down or running where the linebacker or whoever's blitzing, where they vacate so Jalen can throw it there.
I don't think we've seen that as much is the issue, and that be something that's coached. It's really just like, well, I think what the ideal situation for them right now is what happened against the Chiefs, right, with that Devontae touchdown, where it's just like chuck it deep and let's see. Which I just don't think there's that much validity to that approach. You can do that every once in a while, but the process there is not very sound. You know, you can have higher percentage throws that can help you on a third down instead of, you know, doing something stupid like that. So,
and it goes back to the whole our guys are better than yours approach. Like, that cannot be the approach against this team. Like, you remember in 2023 when they played them in the playoffs, Brian Johnson was literally just running 4 verticals down the field. Brian Johnson was calling 4 verticals down the field when you knew they were going to blitz.
Yeah, agreed, Quell, to an extent. But again, your guys can be better than yours, but you have to put them in positions to succeed. You can't just put everything on them and be like, hey, just do it better, because some days, hey, somebody might have your number. There might be a matchup that just doesn't go your favor. It could be a day that somebody else has a good day.
What's the saying? What's the saying? Execution and hard talent, or execution and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't execute and work hard.
But to see, that's the thing. That part right there.
Our
talent works hard, and they just have to execute. And a lot of these things, it's just not, somebody's not executing, whether it's the quarterback, the receivers, the blocking. Something's always going wrong. And I mean, it's football. It's not going to be perfect, but I mean, it kind of goes into, it's, I don't know, it's a chicken or the egg conversation.
I was just about to say it's chicken and the egg, because what I can argue to you there is that, hey, the OC should be putting them in better positions then, you know, like they shouldn't, like, even though you're good, you shouldn't have to work harder just because you're good. Make it easy on them and let them make even bigger plays. That's the argument you can make, is that like, hey, yeah, they're doing this off of a basic playbook. What happens if you expand it? How much better can they be? And so again, it becomes an outlook question, chicken and the egg, whatever it might be.
It's the sports car analogy. Again, just like it was last week. Just because you got all these nice toys, that don't mean you just hop in the car and drive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. At the same time, at least work on it.
Agreed. But I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it has validity. But I also think, especially in the NFL, that if you're not growing, you're losing. You know, you have to be constantly evolving. Because
so, I mean, I guess my whole thing is, do you want them to do it just because? How do you know they're not growing if they're not put in a position where they have, like they showed if they had to this week, they could. But if
because
they got put in positions where they have to, what do you want them to do?
They had to.
Because they had to. They shouldn't have to. With all the talent that you have, with the way that they can put up points, you shouldn't be in that position. You should be able to get a lead and then be able to run the ball and ice the clock like that and play the way that you want. But starting off conservative and hoping that like the other team just makes some mistakes. It's just it's not sound process.
And the thing for me is, it's not just like analysts or us or whoever's saying it. The players are saying it. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, the two most important players on your offense, besides Lane Johnson, are saying it.
Damn, man, just said screw the offensive player of the year, but okay.
Well, I mean, Saquon too. You know what I mean.
No, agreed. Because even Saquon says that, like, I love it when the other guys get the ball because it opens it up for me. Well,
I think it's a video of him, and when you look at when AJ got his first reception or when Devonta scored, Saquon is just there, like, yeah,
loud noises, like, yeah, because it. I mean, they notice it too. They know how hard they're working. They know they deserve the ball. But like, to me, and we can put a bow on this now, but like we're discussing this every podcast, it feels like. But to me, it just feels like I don't want you, like, I'll use the terminology I used last week. I don't want you to turtle up. I want you to come out there, play your game. I don't want you to be out there playing scared, because when you're playing like that, it does feel like you're playing scared, and that has a mentality shift on the players as well. You want to find that balance of, hey, we're not going to make boneheaded turnover worthy plays all the time. You don't want to go to that Seahawks game of that extent of just like, doing whatever, but you also want to find the balance of like, you don't want to just be in a game where it's just like, you're not, you're too afraid to do something because you don't want to make a mistake, because then that takes away from your powers as an offense as well. And the other side of it, I would argue, is that your defense is damn good. You can afford to make some mistakes.
But see, I'll take this and I'll lead into my prediction, because it all ties together in its own way, shape, or form. But I think, and it kind of all goes back to what Nick Sirianni was preaching to them all summer long. Like, what they are trying to do takes a complete team buy-in. You can't have no egos. It can't be no, I want the ball. It can't be no, well, it can look prettier. Your stats, we really don't give a damn about them, because the brand of football that we play, y'all talk about it puts pressure on us. They look at it like it puts pressure on the other team. The other team coming into games against the Philadelphia Eagles terrified, because they know that they can't make. You see, the two ways the games could go. You come out aggressive like the Rams did, and they made a mistake and they said, "Fuck it, we're gonna keep going." Or you could, most teams do. Yeah, sorry, but most teams, they make that mistake, and like you say, they turtle up. And it's like, you play against a team that plays this kind of football, you have to play almost the most perfect brand of football to beat them every week. And it gets exhausting to try to do that for 60 minutes. So, I understand it's not pretty, and they should do things to tidy it up, because when you look at what this team did in 2022, they stepped on teams in the second quarter. The teams had no chance in the second half. It was like we were just waiting until the clock ran out. And ideally, that is the way to go about it. But
the only thing, before you get into your prediction, the only thing I would say is I agree. You have to buy in, no ego. But it also comes down to, guys care so much about the team. They want to help and contribute. You want to feel like you did something. And speaking as a former receiver, obviously not at that level or anything like that, but it gets tiring blocking, dude. It's like, yeah, like I'm glad the running back is springing another run and it's fun. We're putting up points, but damn it, throw me the ball too. Like, why? Like, I'm not a lineman, and I'd be damned if I don't think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith aren't thinking that, because they're damn good blockers and they'll do it.
Now AJ, he's thinking it, but Smitty, he one of those psychopaths. I think he likes blocking.
That's what I was just about to say. I was literally just about to say, it's hilarious listening to us have this conversation, because it's a far cry from Devontae Smith telling Darius Slay, he like, I'm trying to get out there and make a play. He like, nah, you coming out here and block. We go out there, you block just like we block.
Agree, but again, if you don't think the best part of the game for Devontae is when he gets to catch a ball, I don't know what to tell you. Like, yeah, you can, like, again, I think these receivers like to block. They and that's what makes this team go, is that they're willing to do that. But no receiver prefers blocking over receiving. The name is receiver. It's a wide receiver, not a wide blocker. And so, in that way, get them the ball. They want to contribute. They want to do their part, and that's important. It makes you feel ownership in it as well. And I do think that's important. And I think you can find that balance, because, Quell, like you said, we had that balance in 2022. Obviously, it didn't lead to the Super Bowl, but I also think that Jonathan Gannon was fraudulent, and that was a big reason that we didn't win the Super Bowl. I think the offense played just fine in the Super Bowl. So
besides turning the ball over.
Yeah, that fumble is it haunts Jalen. I'm sure he thinks about that too. But point is the offense played well that season. They were able to get to the Super Bowl, and they didn't even have Saquon. Right? So now you have Saquon. If you can play that approach, dude, you can run the ball like you guys want. Just do it to ice the game. It doesn't need to be the entire game. Just like, and run the ball. I'm not saying don't run the ball in the entire game. I don't want somebody to misconstrue that. Run the ball, but have a little bit more balance into the offense until the third quarter. Halfway through the third quarter, oh, you're up a touchdown. Oh, you're up 10 points. Oh, buddy, they're not touching they'll get the ball for one more drive, maybe, if they're lucky. That's what I want to see. And there was nothing more satisfying than that, dude, because you put up the points, you saw the fun touchdowns, and then the end of the game was, oh, dude, we're just better than you, and you're going to have to deal with it, and we're going to just run this ball, and you're not going to get the ball back. Put your feet up, take a little nap.
Demoralizing.
Fourth quarter. It was amazing. Put your feet up. So, Yeah, that's what I want to see. I'm chasing that dragon from 2022, but let's get into our predictions. I know we got into a little bit of a offshoot there, but Quell, you want to start? I know I interrupted you there.
Yeah, man, I'll start. It's going to be a defensive game, and I know I said that last week, and in the end, it was. It was a defensive game for the Rams in the first half and a defensive game for the Eagles in the second half. It just didn't work all in one like I thought it would. But this time, I think it all comes together on both parties. I mean, the Eagles, they have their fair share of struggles against the Bucs in general. We ain't got to go through the whole spiel. Lost 6 of the last 7, 1-4 in the last half of the Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts era. But I think the difference in this game here is kind of like you said, Pierre. Does Tampa Bay have the horses offensively to make this work? If they can run the ball successfully, they may have a chance. That's the big thing right there. And the Eagles have been susceptible against the run this season. If they can manage a run game, they got a chance. But if you sitting here and you asking Baker to throw the ball across the yard, he's tried his fair share. He's done a great job of it this year. Eagles haven't allowed a 200-yard passer all year. I don't see with
have they allowed a second half score all year?
Yeah, the Eagles have allowed 17
Oh,
points
the Chiefs.
in the second half.
The
Chiefs. I think somebody didn't they score 7 points? Yeah, Rams scored 7 points. Oh, well, the defense didn't, but the Rams scored 7 points in the second half.
Right.
And then Dallas, they kicked the field goal. So, but just in
so
general,
not really
hard. Yeah, heartily. I just find it difficult. I think the score will be a very hot 20-17 finish.
All right. Who wins?
Did you not hear me about the part where I say I just don't think they had the facilities for this big man?
Oh.
Pierre's not listening to Quell today. He's
not at all.
Tuned him out today. Sorry, man. Quell, I'm listening to you, bro.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I got you, dude. I got you. Pierre don't got you.
Pierre doesn't listen to me until he goes to edit the pod, and then he's like, "Hey, Quell was dropping."
That was a good point, Quell. That was actually a good point. Okay, so for my prediction, I think that's a good point, Quell. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, but my overall prediction is I think we finally get a Saquon game. It's been a quiet season for Saquon. Then we get a Saquon game, but in the way that we laid out. I don't think it's going to be Saquon the runner. I hope, and this is maybe wishful thinking. I've realized I do this on my predictions. It's wishful thinking more than predictions. It's like, hey, this is what I would do if I were you, the Eagles. Last week I said pass the ball to A.J. Brown, and we saw how that worked out. So this week, I'm just saying get the ball in Saquon's hands. Get him into space with some blockers in front of him. Don't just have him running into congested lanes all the time and hoping he can figure something out. And I think he can have a really good game. Score prediction, I'm going to also go a lower scoring game. 19.
I wanted to say 19 so bad.
19-17. 19-17 Eagles. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right.
I took the over from your game.
Yeah, you did.
I tend to agree with both of you guys' points, right? Like, I think, when you put it all together, this Buccaneers team, they're kind of proverbially hanging on by a thread, right? Like, we outlined the patchwork O-line, the depleted receiving core, how, like, all three of their wins have come on the final drive of games, leaning on a bit of Baker Mayfield magic and everything like that. Like I said, man, sure, that's enough to beat the Falcons, Texans, and Jets. And, yeah, the Eagles have their own concerns and everything like that, but they're the defending Super Bowl champions, bro. This is Jalen Carter, it's Jordan Davis, it's Jahad Campbell, Zach Bond, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper the Gene.
We got to.
I don't think Tampa Bay, like you said, Q. I don't think they have the horses, man. I'm gonna go Eagles 23, Buccaneers 13.
All right. There you have it. Your predictions from the Blitz Boys. I'm trying to make that catch, man. If you look at the Blitz Boys hashtag, it's only us.
We got to make that catch on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you guys because I'm the only one who tweets hashtag the Blitz Boys are live. It feels like a hard thing. All right, I've seen Quell do it a couple times, but with Pierre doesn't want.
I haven't. I promise I have. I haven't.
I know you don't want to lose Twitter clout, bro. It's fine. You don't want to use like someone like me made up.
You want me to tweet like them dorks?
Yeah, nerds. Get a load of these guys. I'm not like them. No, but we appreciate all 72 of you who tapped in with us today.
That was the third person here. Where'd you go, buddy?
No, 73.
It got up to 76.
All right,
73.
That's a sign, baby. Let's go.
Prayers and condolences. Yeah, prayers and condolences to Jared McCain.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
He's he took the injury curse for VJ. VJ will be healthy now. That's what the streets are saying. Also, given last podcast, it's the 100 and Shelton Gibson pod. 18. Come on. Talked about Shelton Gibson last time.
Oh yeah.
That's Virginia.
That's right.
Yeah. You were the one who brought him up.
AJ Brown and Dory Jackson.
AJ Brown and Dory Jackson, or last year CJ Gardner Johnson.
Yeah.
Shout out my guy. But we appreciate you all. Make sure you listen, review, subscribe, 5 stars, thumbs up on YouTube. We'll be back next week for a post game and pregame as well.
Yeah, we're gonna try and make this 2 podcasts per week thing stick.
Appreciate you all. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.